Confidence isn't thinking you're better than everyone else. It's knowing you have nothing to prove to anyone. There's a moment in life when you must stop waiting for someone to see your worth. You must stop waiting for validation, applause, or approval. Life does not owe you confidence, you owe it to yourself. There's a voice within you that has been whispering through all the pain, all the rejection, and all the silence, you are enough. And today, I want you to listen to that voice. I want you to rise with a belief so strong, so unshakable, that you walk into every room as if you were born to be there. This isn't arrogance, this is self-respect. This is the truth. Act as if you are the best. Not because the world tells you so, but because you've chosen to believe that no one is better than you. Not in worth, not in dignity, not in possibility. You don't need to step on others to rise. You rise because you remember who you are. You rise because your spirit has decided to stop shrinking. You rise because the world has told you enough times what you can't do now. It's time to show it what you can. Confidence is not a gift. It's a choice you make daily. Confidence isn't something you stumble upon in the dark. It's something you light within yourself. It's not a switch someone else flips for you. It's a candle you hold, and every morning you decide to keep it burning. You make that decision before your feet touch the floor. You whisper to yourself, I will not hide today. You were not born confident. No one is. We are born fragile, dependent, uncertain. But in the fire of experience, something else emerges. It's that quiet resilience that forms when you fall and still dare to rise. You don't gain confidence by avoiding fear. You gain it by walking into fear and refusing to retreat. Every day you doubt yourself. Remember this. Doubt is loud, but truth is louder. And the truth is, you have already survived battles that would have destroyed others. You carry within you the silent proof of endurance. Confidence doesn't come from what you have. It comes from knowing what you've been through and still choosing to move forward with grace. You may not feel strong every day, but you are still worthy every day. On the days you feel invisible, act like you are seen. On the days you feel unlovable, act like you are adored. On the days you feel like nothing, act like everything you do matters, because it does. What you tell yourself becomes your posture. If you walk like a failure, speak like a victim, and carry yourself like a ghost, the world will respond accordingly. But if you lift your head, square your shoulders, and move like your presence is power, you start to embody what you thought you lacked. The world responds not to your fear, but to your fire. If you want to be treated with respect, walk like someone who commands it. If you want to be seen as worthy, carry yourself like someone who no longer seeks approval. And if you want to be trusted with opportunity, speak like someone who's already ready. Confidence is not pretending to be fearless. It's choosing to act even though your hands are shaking. It's walking into the room and sitting at the table even when your mind tells you that you don't belong. You belong because you said so. You belong because you decided not to run anymore. You don't build confidence in safety. You build it in discomfort. You build it when you show up for the interview even when you're underqualified. You build it when you speak up in a room full of silence. You build it when you choose to live boldly, even when you're scared of falling. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. The most powerful people were not ready when their moment came. They simply showed up anyway. You don't need to know how everything will unfold. All you need to know is that you have a voice, a vision, and the courage to take the next step. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you deserve it? What if confidence isn't the result, but the requirement? What if you didn't need more proof, more praise, more preparation, but just more faith in yourself? When you act confident, even if you don't feel it, something shifts inside you. Your voice steadies, your hands stop trembling, your back straightens. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. That moment, that shift is the birth of power. The truth is, you are already everything you're pretending to be. You're not faking it, you're remembering it. You're waking up the part of you that was silenced by fear, rejection, and pain. And once it's awake, it will never let you go back to hiding. Every time you act confident, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. Every time You choose courage over comfort. You're building a foundation that no one can take away. And every time you rise in your own name, the world rises to meet you. The day you stop waiting to feel confident and start choosing to act confident is the day everything changes. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You just need to believe that you can show up as your highest self. Even when no one's clapping, the world treats you the way you teach it to. The world listens to how you speak to yourself, even when no one else is in the room. The tone you use with your own soul becomes the tone the world adopts in your presence. If you constantly undermine your worth, the world mirrors your silence. If you rise like you matter, the world starts to pay attention. You are a living example of your own standards. If you allow people to interrupt your peace, they will. If you tolerate disrespect, it becomes the language they speak to you. But the moment you act like someone with value, with boundaries, with belief, the world must adjust or leave. You cannot ask others to respect you if you are constantly abandoning yourself. You cannot demand love if you do not nurture it within. And you cannot ask for loyalty if you do not stand loyal to your voice. You are the first mirror the world sees. Reflect something worthy. Many times people will test your limits not because they hate you, but because you haven't made them clear. If you act small, they will assume you like it that way. If you shrink yourself, they will step over you, not because they are evil, but because you've left the space empty. Power is not loud. It's quiet, calm, and unshakable. It shows up in your decisions. It lives in your posture. It's there when you say no and mean it. When you walk away from what drains you, when you demand more from your life, that is power, teaching the world how to treat you. Do not underestimate the weight of how you carry yourself. You can walk into a room without saying a word and still speak volumes. Your presence has a frequency, and that frequency is either rooted in fear or in worth. Choose worth, always. Stop negotiating with your value. You are not a discount. You are not a half-off version of greatness. You are the full story, not a footnote. So carry yourself accordingly. Speak with conviction. Choose people who choose you. And teach the world that your soul is not up for compromise. When you decide that your time, your love, your energy is sacred, the world responds. Some may call it selfish. Some may call it pride. Let them. Your job is not to be digestible. Your job is to be whole. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be authentic. People will respect what you protect. If you protect your peace, they'll stop disturbing it. If you protect your joy, they'll stop trying to steal it. But if you leave your soul wide open for everyone's approval, you'll bleed for people who don't even notice the wound. The truth is, the way you love yourself sets the blueprint for how others love you. If you abandon yourself to please others, they'll expect it. If you silence your truth to keep the peace, they'll forget you have one. But if you act like someone who deserves love and respect, they'll learn to follow your lead. Your boundaries are not walls, they are gates of permission. And only those who honor your truth should be allowed to enter. You don't owe everyone access. Not everyone is qualified to handle the depth of your heart. Remember, every time you stand up for yourself, you're teaching the world how to respect you. Every time you speak up instead of staying silent, you're setting a new standard. And every time you walk away from what no longer serves you, you're rewriting the way the world interacts with you. You are not here to be everyone's lesson. But you are here to teach people how to value what you carry. That lesson begins with you. The world cannot honor what you hide. Let them see who you really are. Not the version that pleases, but the version that thrives. You don't need to explain your worth. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You just need to live in a way that shows the world your soul is not up for negotiation. The way you carry yourself will speak louder than any words you say. Stop seeking validation. Start giving yourself permission. There comes a moment when you realize that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the green light you've been waiting for. No applause is loud enough to fix the silence inside of you. And in that moment, you learn to become your own permission slip. You were never meant to live for approval. You were meant to live in truth. But we are trained to ask for validation before we speak, move, dream, or rise. From the earliest days, we are taught to earn worthiness. But the truth is, worthiness doesn't need to be earned. It's inherited at birth. You have been taught to wait for the nod, the invitation, the confirmation. But every day you wait, you bury your power, you bury your voice. You silence the call that was never meant to be polite, it was meant to roar. Your greatness is not waiting for permission. It's waiting for you to believe it's already yours. Validation is addictive, but it's also deceiving. It feels like love, but it's really control. It keeps you locked in a cycle of performance. One day you're adored, the next day you're invisible, and your self-worth rises and falls like a tide that doesn't belong to you. That is no way to live. Freedom begins when you decide that the only voice that matters is the one inside your chest, not the crowd, not the critic, not the voice of your past. You are the author now. And the chapter begins with these words: I don't need anyone to tell me I'm enough. I just am. The need for validation is rooted in fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of loneliness, the fear of being unseen. But you cannot grow if you are constantly bending to be liked. Growth requires you to stand, even if you stand alone. It requires you to live in integrity, not popularity. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You just have to be real. Stop filtering yourself so others feel comfortable. Stop editing your light so others don't feel insecure. If your authenticity threatens people, let it. That's their battle, not yours. You have nothing to prove. Not to your family, not to your peers, not to society. The real revolution is choosing to love yourself exactly as you are, even when the world refuses to clap. The real victory is looking in the mirror and whispering, I believe in you, without needing anyone else to say it first. Every time you wait for validation, you place your life on pause. How much time have you lost waiting for someone else to say you're ready? How many dreams have withered because you thought someone else had to approve of them? It's time to take your life off hold. Permission comes from within. When you decide you are worthy of the dream, that's permission. When you take the first step without asking if it's okay, that's permission. When you live like you are already enough, that's permission. And the world responds not to your doubts, but to your decision. Validation is temporary. It's a hit of dopamine. But self-approval, that is soul deep. It doesn't fade when the compliments stop. It doesn't die when you fail. It is rooted in identity, not outcome. And once you taste that kind of freedom, you'll never go back. Sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is disappoint people. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mislabel your journey. You are not here to make sense to everyone. You are here to make peace with yourself. Choose peace, even if it costs you applause. Don't wait until you're praised to walk boldly. Walk boldly because you know what it took to get here. Don't wait until you're validated to speak your truth. Speak because your silence was killing you. Don't wait for permission to heal, to move, to rise. Just rise. You are enough now. Not later. Not when you achieve more. Not when they accept you. Now. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you step into your true identity, the version of you that doesn't beg to belong, but knows they were born to lead. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be free. Give yourself that gift. You don't need another vote of confidence. You just need to decide that your voice, your dream, your soul is already worthy of taking up space in this world. When you act like you're the best, you force the world to rethink you. There's something powerful about walking into a room like you own your story. Not because you think you're better than everyone else, but because you finally realized no one else is better than you. That shift changes everything. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. The world doesn't see you as you are. It sees you as you present yourself. And when you act like you're second best, when you carry insecurity like a badge, the world believes it. But when you walk with purpose, even before you have the results, people are drawn to your certainty. Confidence creates its own gravity. People want to believe in something, and when you believe in yourself, they sense it. You become magnetic. Not because you said you're the best, but because you act like someone who stopped apologizing for existing. Too often we wait until we feel powerful to act powerful. But feelings lie. Identity doesn't. You can act like the best while still doubting yourself. That act repeated eventually becomes your truth. It's not about pretending, it's about retraining your mind to see what's always been there. When you walk like the best, you move differently. You don't compete, you don't chase, you don't explain, you elevate, you inspire. You take your seat at the table, and if no one saved you a spot, you bring your own chair because you know you belong. You don't wait to be celebrated, you celebrate yourself. Not with arrogance, but with quiet assurance. You know the price you paid to be here. You know the storms you survived. And that alone gives you the right to take up space without shrinking, acting like. The best doesn't mean thinking you're better than others. It means refusing to think you're less. It means living from a place of fullness, not fear. It means walking into every space like someone who carries the fire of their own worth, and that fire lights the path for others too. When you act like you're the best, the world has no choice but to reevaluate its expectations of you. They may have underestimated you once. They may have dismissed you. But now, your presence demands respect. And that demand comes not from aggression, but from dignity. You are not here to play small so others can feel big. You are not here to blend in so no one is threatened. You are here to rise, and your rising invites others to rise too. That's how you shift atmospheres, by being unapologetically grounded in who you are. Act like the best even when you feel broken. Even when the doors close. Even when they don't respond to your voice. Why? Because the act is not for them, it's for you. It's a reminder that your power isn't conditional. It's intrinsic. Your mindset shapes your momentum. If you believe you are the best, you begin to attract the kind of life that mirrors that belief. You start setting boundaries. You stop settling. You stop tolerating relationships that feel like survival instead of celebration. Every time you act like the best, you're not being fake, you're being faithful to your future self. You're aligning with the version of you that already exists, waiting just beyond the fear. You're stepping into the identity that your soul has been begging you to embrace. People may judge your confidence. Let them. Some people confuse humility with invisibility. But real humility isn't shrinking. It's owning your light and knowing you didn't create it, you were born with it. And your only job is to let it shine. When you act like the best, you lift others. Not by pushing them down, but by modeling what's possible. You show them that worth isn't exclusive, that everyone has the right to stand tall. And your courage becomes their permission slip to do the same. So walk like you carry something the world needs. Speak like your voice has value. Live like you were chosen because you were. Not by them, by life itself. And life does not make mistakes. At the end of the day. So, act as if you are the best. Not because you are trying to impress anyone, not because you are trying to dominate anyone, but because you finally remembered who you are. You finally reclaimed the power that was never meant to be borrowed from others. You finally understood that greatness isn't some distant reward for the perfect, it is the birthright of those who dare to believe in themselves when no one else will. The moment you stop waiting to be chosen, you become unstoppable. The second you stop seeking validation, you become undeniable. And when you start walking like you are the best, not in ego, but in essence, you give the world permission to treat you with the honor you've always deserved. You are not better than anyone else, and no one is better than you. That's the truth. We are all built from the same sacred breath, the same limitless potential. But the ones who rise are the ones who decide to act like they belong at the top, even when everything around them tries to convince them otherwise. Don't shrink for comfort. Don't settle for silence. Don't sabotage your brilliance. You have been through too much, cried too long, and waited too patiently. Now is your time. Stand tall. Take the space. Wear your crown. Speak your truth. Walk like you've already won. Because you did the moment you chose yourself. Act as if you are the best. Because the world mirrors what you embody. And when you rise with that quiet fire in your soul, the fire that says, I may not be perfect, but I am powerful, the world has no choice but to rise with you.